All right, we still go to other issues now, and of course, we know that last year there was a bit of ban. We're far run out of time on protests, and of course, the federal government talked about the NSAS protests. But we know of this certain man, Omoyele Sowore, of course, for the revolution. Now we know that that also made headlines sometime in 2019, of course, which caused for his arrest and, of course, subsequent release. But right now, on the eve of New Year, that's on the 31st of December, we know that Omoyele Sowore was also arrested. Now, as much as there are a lot of controversies concerning what exactly he stands for, his arrest, his detention, he was on bail, or rather he was at court, he was on bail, but unfortunately, ruling on the bail application filed by Omoyele Sowore and 4 others, it was stalled on Friday as the police failed to provide the defendants at the Chief Magistrate Court in Abuja. Now, on Tuesday, the Chief Magistrate, that is Mabel Shegun Bello, fixed Friday, January 8, to rule on the defendants' bail application. However, on Friday, police failed to bring the defendants to court. Now, according to them, they said there was no vehicle. According to the police, the reason why they did not bring Sowore, there was no vehicle also to bring him to court.
You see, there are so many ways to view this issue.
Yeah.
It is sensitive, though.
Yes, very, very
but
sensitive.
Then that does not mean we wouldn't say how how it is. Number one, there is no way government can say there is ban on protest. It's not, because it is part of democratic tenets that people can protest. But that protest has to be peaceful. That protest has to be devoid of some words. All right? 2, when Sowore was given bail the other time, what were his bail conditions? Has he complied with the bail conditions? Then if somebody who is on bail should go against the conditions of bail, what is supposed to be done to such a person? Because we're now talking about the rule of law, all right, upon which everybody is subjected to in this country. So if he is being arrested, why was he arrested? Is it because he decided to go against the bail conditions? But if not, the government has no reason to bail him. Then the police too, they shouldn't be making Nigerians to look stupid. How can you say you don't have a vehicle to convey somebody to the court? I mean, it is like a desica on their part. And whoever is lacking in his or her duties need to be sanctioned, so that people outside will not be laughing at us the way we are laughing at a particular country now. You know?
Okay, talking about the lackadaisical attitude of the police, I think a lot of people are not calling that as a reasonable excuse of not having a vehicle to bring him to court. I think let's not give too much priority on, or let's not make, I'm being careful with my words there, but let's focus on things that are important. There's a pandemic there, let's focus on that, and let's deal with other issues as they should be. Let's not elongate such issues. Everyone has the right to right of freedom, right of speech, and all that. And while talking about democracy and the rule of law, of course, one major issue that has affected, rather not affected, but has caught the eyes of the whole world is that of the U.S. Capitol invasion. And of course, we know that the U.S. elections, November 3rd, brought a lot of the controversies. And after that, we had the Republican, which is the incumbent president, Donald Trump. And of course, we also had the Democrat, which is Joe Biden. And so far, so good. I think Joe Biden was able to get about 373 votes, while Donald Trump wasn't able to get enough. And we know that the number of votes you're supposed to have is 270. So from what the Electoral College votes had, we saw Joe Biden winning. But somehow Donald Trump found it so hard to accept defeat. Let's take a look at this track up now from Trump and see what instigated a particular virus that has shocked the whole world. We'll be right back.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. And that's what this is all about. This egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on Our brave senators and congressmen and women.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, according to Donald Trump, but we're going to cheer on our brave congressmen and women. Unfortunately, it wasn't a walk down at all. It was a big riot in which members of parliament were seated. And of course, they were there trying to confirm Joe Biden's electoral victory. And just then, rioters came in with guns and a lot of things there. But this protest has caused lots of controversy on the U.S. democracy. And joining us live now is Victor Gully. He's from the United States of America. Of course, he has his own passion, of course, his own intake on this riot and how it affects the black man. Thank you very much for joining us on the show, Victor Gully.
How are you this morning? How are you?
All right, we're looking at the issue of the Capitol Hill invasion, and one major issue people said there was the fact that rioters came in, and that if it was, or rather comparing the reaction of the police to the Black Lives Matters, and of course to the U.S., to the protest that happened at the Congress, at the Capitol Hill. As a person of, or rather, of course, I'll call you someone not as a white man there, how would you say this affected you knowing that just in June 2020, police tear gas lots of Black Lives Matters protesters, and now for this sort of high-level profile, nothing much, according to the reports we had, was being done. Let's have your take on it.
Well, let's just go back and look at some history. In 2013, Miriam Carey hit a security checkpoint in Washington, D.C., particularly the White House, and by accident. And before once she realized it was a mistake, she turns around, she's driving away, trying to correct the error. She didn't leave the White House. She ended up being shot there. So we all know that if the circumstances were different for African Americans who attempted to do what we saw at the Capitol building, the headline would read a little different. So it would probably been the same as what Miriam Carey experienced in 2013. Okay, I can barely hear you now. I can't hear you.
Okay, seems we're having a bit of network issue. Of course, people, the Black Lives Movement, are not happy with this position there.
You see, like I said, politics everywhere. It's all about intrigues. Whoever knows how to play it better takes charge. There's no doubt about it. There was an intrigue in U.S. election. The one that brought Trump in, there was an intrigue. This one, the same thing. But it's a pity that a lot of eggheads put their heads together against Trump, and they couldn't really place. He has been looking for it. But along the line, I'm sure the fig leaf will be brought up.
So now, the way you're putting it now, you're making Trump look like the innocent one. That we heard what he said.
I'm not saying
he was more like instigating the rioters.
Sure, definitely yes. That is the thing I don't like about him. Honestly, I am somebody that doesn't like violence. I don't like violence. Even though J.F. Kennedy said, "Those who make peaceful change impossible will make violent change inevitable." But after that violence, you will have destroyed a lot of things. Either you like it or not, you still come back to the round table. How do you repair those things you have destroyed? For instance, now the American democracy now has a spot, a black spot already. At the end of the day, how do you remove that black spot? That is one aspect of Trump.
Okay, let me go to Victor Iyer now. You know, before we would say, I was looking at talking about emulating the U.S. politics and U.S. elections, but right now the situation is turning. So what lessons can we say the world, the impact of what this happened, what lessons can we learn from what has happened so far?
There are positive lessons to be learned. If we compare and contrast the politics in America and Nigeria, you find out that those that were in the government of Trump they are resigning.
Yes.
They are resigning.
Yeah,
That
we
is
have the
no
police,
lesson.
the U.S. Capitol
They are
Police,
resigning.
they are resigning,
And
yes.
they are criticizing the government.
Yeah.
But here, with all the killings, those who are government said this is the best government. That is one lesson we have to learn.
Sure.
They don't resign here. They don't resign here. But just after the invasion of the capital, more than 5 government officials have resigned.
Yeah.
Has anybody resigned from this government?
Because they have integrity.
It is about money. Money. Let me work down for my children yet unborn. That is what is destroying Africa and Nigeria. Nobody is resigning here. They are praising this government with all the killing. They say this is the best government that has ever happened to this
All
country.
right,
But
well,
in there now, they are saying no, we will not take
Okay,
this. They throw in the cover.
time is past, but I hope we will have an opportunity to discuss this. Of course, from what I would say that the quest of power, from what I can say, is not in the African country. I mean, we can see this quest of power, really this greed for power really occurring. That so it's not an African mentality, as most people would say. Well, it's a big stain on the U.S. democracy. I mean, since 1814 by the Brits, the U.S. Capitol Hill has not been invaded, and just by one action, everything has gone down the hill. Well, we have lots of lessons to learn from all this. Of course, we'll still uphold the tenets of democracy, and the people's voices matter. Well, this is how we draw the curtains. Unfortunately, thank you very much, Victor Ayo, Dr. Daya Kayode, Comrade Benga Kundayo, TUC Chairman, the NMA Chairman in Lagos, Detention, Adineko, of course, Victor Garley. Of course, the black people there, the black Americans are not necessarily happy with what happened, as we would know that the Black Lives Matter, the police really descended on them. Well, as I said, this is how we draw the curtains. Thank you very much, my beloved audience, for being a part of Editors Forum. Do join us again, same time, same station next week, God's willing, for another edition of Editors Forum. I am Rita Omwodia. God bless Nigeria.